Howdy there, Internet students. Mr. Urmson again. If you are watching this video, then you're wanting to retake your 3.2 test. What I'm going to do is one of each of the types of problems, and then you're going to do the other two problems like them. Make sure you include the notes from this video. I will be looking for that. And when you're done, then you are going to email me a photo of your work, and I'll check it, and if it looks good, I will send your parents the retake test. All right, let's start off here with a simple interest problem. Okay, so Ryan deposited $2,000 in a savings account. Whatever you deposit, that's your principal. The rate is 4% per year. Make sure you divide that by 100 so it's a decimal, 0.04. The time is how long the loan is, or the savings account time is, and that's 5 years. And so the interest will be the principal times the rate times the time. So I'm just going to do 2,000 times 0.04 times 5. Okay, and on the calculator that will look like 2,000 times 0.04 times 5 equals $400. Okay, so the amount of interest will be $400. The total amount in the account, of course, if you were asked that, you would have to add the 2,000 plus the 400 in interest. So that would be 2,400. That wasn't asked for this question. You were just asked the interest, which I think you're asked on the same one. Now at this point, you could pause the video and do the next two problems and then come back to the video. Or you could continue the video and get all the notes and then go back and do the work, however you think is better. Okay, so I'm going to go down and do number 2 here. It's a simple interest problem. Anna invested $2,500. That's called the principal. The rate is 5%. We're going to write that as a decimal. That's our rate, R. And our time is what we're looking for, how long. Okay, this number here is your simple interest. So when you think about this formula, interest equals principal times rate times time, we're actually missing the time here. So I'm going to set it up like this. I'm going to put the 1,125 for my interest. My principal is 2,500 times my rate, which is 0.05, times my time, which I don't know, so I'm just going to write T for that. Now this multiplication we can go ahead and do, 2,500 times 0.05. That equals 125. So I'm going to just rewrite this over here. And remember, I figured out 2,500 times 0.05 is 125 times t. Now, whenever you're trying to figure out what number times something equals something, you're going to divide. So I'm going to do one last step, divide 1,125 by 125, and that'll be my time. So 1125 divided by 125 equals 9. So that means it was 9 years. Okay, number 3, it says Jack deposited $1,400 in his bank account. That's the principal. After 3 years, that's the time, he had earned $336. That's the interest. Find the interest rate. That's R. That's what we're looking for in this one. So let's set it up. Where the I is here, we're going to put 336. Where the P is, we're going to put 1,400. And we're missing the rate. I'm going to put that on the end, but we know the time is 3 years times R. So again, this is like the last problem. We can multiply those two. And so I'm just going to rewrite it. I think I know that 1,400 times 3 is 52. 100. Whoops, I did that a little wrong. Maybe I should have used the calculator. 4,200. Okay, and then I got to do the last step like I did in the last problem. To figure out what R is, I'm going to do 336 divided by 4,200. Now when you see this answer, you have to interpret it as a percent. So 336 divided by 4200 equals 0.08. That is the rate written as a decimal. To change that to a percent, you need to multiply it by 100, which is 8%. Okay. On this next problem, the interest on the loan was $7,820. That's the interest. The simple interest rate is 5%. Let's write that as 0.05. That's R. And the time is 3 years. How much money did he originally borrow? We're looking for P in this one. Okay. So again, we're going to use this I equals P times R times T. We know the interest is 7,820. We don't know the principal, so I'm just going to leave that P. We know R is 0.05, and we know T is 3. So we have to do 0.05 times 3. Okay? And I can rewrite that, multiplying the 0.05 times 3. So we have P times 0.15. That's what you get when you multiply those two. So to get my answer, I'm going to have to take 7,280 divided by 0.15. That'll give me my P. 7,820 divided by 0.15 equals 5,2,133. Since this is a money amount, we're going to give it 2 decimal places there. All right. I'm going to move on down to the next. You have to go back and finish those problems. The next type of question is finding the percent of increase or decrease. Now here's how we do it. First of all, our part is how much we're going down. So to find my part, I'm going to do 30 minus 26. I went down 4. That goes up top. Your original amount, that's your 100%. That goes on the bottom. And then this is my missing number here. So I'm going to take 4 times 100 divided by 30. And that looks like about 13.3% decrease. Now, if you want a little bit of a shortcut on that, this is the way I would do it. I would just do 3 divided by, or sorry, clear that, 4 divided by 30. And then, is that right? No, I didn't clear it enough. 4 divided by 30. And then you can just multiply by 100 in your head, move the decimal over 2 places. That gives you 13.3, or multiply that by 100 on your calculator if you want. Okay, so I have to figure out how much I'm going up here because it's a percent increase. That's my part. And I would do that by subtracting 50.30 minus 48.50. And I think that's $1.80. That's going to be my part. My whole is the original, which is 48.50. And so now I just have to solve that proportion. I'm going to do it the quick way. I'm going to do the $1.80 divided by 48.50 first. And then I'm going to just move the decimal over 2 places in my head. But here's how you do it on your calculator. Multiply by 100. So it looks like about, rounding to the nearest hundredth, 3.7% increase. Go ahead and do that. Okay. On this Harry Potter problem, we have to take 24% off the original cost. Now, if at some point you're going to have to subtract here. If you figure out what the 24% is, then you have to subtract it off the cost. I prefer to subtract it from the original percent, which is 100%. So I'm going to take my 100% minus the 24%, and I know that I'm going to be left paying 76%. That's what I like to put there. So now I'm going to do 168 times 76%, basically. Now, if you want a little bit of a shortcut here, instead of doing times 176 and then dividing by 100, just do times 0.76. And I get 127.68 for that answer. All right. I'm going to do one now where you have to increase by a percent. The meal costs $48.50. The customer wants to leave a 16% tip. How much will the total cost be? Well, the total cost will be the 100% of the meal plus the 16% of the tip. Now, if you just do 16 here, figure out what 16% of 45.30 is, you're going to have to do one more step and add that onto this number to get the total cost. If you want to skip that step, which I like to do, let's just add this 16 onto our 100% of the cost of the meal and put 116 there. Okay, so we're going to take 45.30 times 116%. And you could do a little shortcut. You could divide the 116 by 100 first, which would give you 1.16. And that gives us 52.55 for the cost of the meal. All right, we have one more type of problem to go over here, and that's figuring out compound interest. Now, compound interest means that at the end of every year, you're going to calculate the interest and add it on. We can use this little formula to help us with that. Let's identify the parts of this. This is the principal, the amount that you borrow or the amount you invest. This is the rate. We got to change that to a decimal, 0.09. And this is the time, which in this formula is actually n for a number of years. That's the exponent there. Okay, so I'm going to put, to get my balance, I'm going to put my principal first, which is 7,000. I'm going to multiply that by 1 plus. Now here's what students forget. They forget to add 1 to the rate. So if I add 1 to this 0.09, I get 1.09. And then my n is 7. Okay? So on my calculator, I'm going to take 7,000 times 1.09. And I'm going to use the exponent to raise it to the 7th power. And that gives me 1279627 dollars in the account after those 7 years. All right, so finish up that worksheet, and when you're done, you're going to email me a photo of that. Like I said before, make sure your notes from the video lesson are there, and don't be afraid to go back and watch the video again if you forget how to do it. And once you're good at doing those kind of problems, then we'll get that retake test to your parents to give you. All right, talk to you later.